obviously, like, you're, like, sitting there, you know, watching, learning, doing all that. And obviously you have, you know, probably one of the best person to watch in terms of Kobe and his preparation and how he got ready for games, practices, getting body ready. Like, how was that? Just, you know, talking with him, seeing the mentality, like, in person. Because everyone says Mamba mentality now. Half the people don't even know what it means. But, you know, what was that like?
I just got to see up close somebody, like, sacrifice everything for their craft. It's like I've never seen somebody, like, sometimes I'll go through my process of like now, because I'll say, like, things that Cole told me back then make more sense now, even more than they did back then. Like, some of the shit he was saying, like, I couldn't even speak that language because I haven't been through it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like I had to go through my own process and ups and downs to really understand it. So, like, I'll go through my process and I'll be like, man, like, I might watch film. And I'm like, am I tripping? Like, am I reading too much into this? Like, because I'm just, like, looking at every single detail of it. And that's how he was. Like, he was like, I've never seen somebody so particular and detailed about their craft. Like, he'll be like, no, you can't have the ball right there. They're going to strip it. Or, you know what I mean? It's like footwork, or, you know, we're going through a workout and just, like, his attention to detail and then his ability to be like, all right, now we're going to rep this hours. Like, I know we say, like, the first time, I said the first time that I ever, our first practice with the Lakers, it was straight basketball, defense, like 2 hours. Like, I've been in a workout with this dude at 5 o'clock in the morning and we doing defense straight for 2 hours. And I've never done a workout like I'm not talking about, like, hey, a practice or whatever, like an individual workout, bro. Like, you come in the gym, work on your game. It's like, nah, we doing some defensive slides, bro.
Nah, that's
At
crazy. 5
in the morning in condition. I'm like, bro, what the hell is this? You know what I mean? So it was like,
defensive workouts is crazy.
It's crazy. He's like, no, bro, you can't slide your feet like that. Like, you got to do it like this. Like, even in that, he's like super detailed. And I'm like, man, like, oh, this is a level of, like, he was basically obsessed.
Yeah.
Like, he dedicated his life to the craft. And for me, growing up, watching him, idolizing him, it was, like, super inspiring. Like, even still to this day, like, I get chills talking about it because it's like, for somebody to dedicate, like, I was telling my friend this the other day, like, it's rare people, like, find their own niche in life or whatever in life, and, you know, they go about, is that what it is, niche?
3 months in college, right?
Yeah.
It is niche, right?
I think it's either or. It depends.
Niche.
Tomato.
I've heard both.
Both of y'all.
He's in the middle of a great story.
But, you know, people, like, whatever it is, they find it. I was like, man, I've been super lucky and blessed to find, like, a passion in life that I love. You know what I mean? God blessed me with the ability to play basketball and, like, love it and be obsessed with it. So, like, I'm blessed to have that. And for him, like, to see somebody that, you know, was obsessed with the game the way he was and loved the game the way he was, it was inspiring for me every day. It still, to this day, motivates me. Like, to just give everything that you have, you know, for the game.
Yeah. Was that probably what you would take, like, the biggest lesson that you would take from interacting with them, is just appreciating?
Yeah, I take a lot. It varies. But I think it really just all kind of, like, starts with love.
Yeah.
Like, he just had a deep love and passion for whatever he was doing. Like, even as he was phasing out, like, his last year, he had a love for production. And, like, he would be on the plane, like, studying, like, production and, like, old Disney films.
I mean, he won an award for his animated short.
Yeah, but, like, it's not, like, by accident. Nothing is by accident. Like, he, you know, once he locked in on something, like, he locked in on it. And that was what was inspiring for me. Like, I'm like, all right, man, I ain't crazy. Like, this is what I love doing. So, yeah, I'm going to watch basketball all day. You know, like, yeah, I'm going to want to hoop all day. This is what I do.
You going to New Orleans, right? Because obviously,
You like New Orleans, Josh?
I like the fans. I love the team, the organization.
You love the team?
The city took a little while to get used to because I wasn't used to, like, the
Where'd
down
you live?
south. I was right around the corner from where you was.
Where I stay?
Yeah.
You was in Gabriel?
Yep.
Bro, that's the best
I literally-
neighborhood in the
Yeah, literally
world,
asked Julius.
bro.
I
I
said,
still
yo,
wish you could
he was
pick it
selling
up.
his.
I love Gabriel, bro.
He was selling his crib. He had a crazy crib. Selling his
I
crib.
had a crazy.
I
I had a
asked.
normal
He told me
crib.
how much. I said, yeah. I think.
Oh,
I'm
you
trying to
asked me about it, didn't you?
Yep.
I forgot about that.
Bro, house was fire.
No, the house
Like,
was
ballpark.
Where was
Fire.
it?
Any ballpark.
Where was it in relation to yours?
It was
Like ours or Zion's?
so it was
Yeah, bro. He's
probably
gas.
five. Yeah, it was probably like 5 doors down from where he is.
Okay.
So your thought process when you signed New Orleans, it was like that 2 for 18 or whatever with the player option. Your thought process when you signed there, because how I look, I'm curious because like I always looked at it just from the outside looking in. It was like you played all 82 the year year last year, my first year with LA, and we were probably out of playoff contention after game 55, game 60.
Facts.
And for me being a rookie, it was cool to see. And Luke mentioned, I think it was like the end of the year, to see you play all 82, even the last 10, 15 games of the season, where a lot of guys, especially in career, contract years, they did their thing, and then they kind of sit. So your process, you played all 82, and then had a really good year. Shut up.
Just waiting for the question.
And then you went to New Orleans, and me looking at it, I was like, I thought you were going to get rewarded more than
Facts.
what.
I felt that too.
Yeah, than what. Like, so just like, what was that
Here it is.
process like? I had to like
I know,
tee it up
but
for
we've
the
been
view.
through the
teed it
same-
up 'cause it's 'cause we've been
the
kinda
ball
through
was
the same-
teed, and you took 80 practice swings.
I had to tee it. I had to let everyone get the full picture of my question, Jalen. So your thought process of that, because sometimes for a lot of guys that could be frustrating or
No, it
break
was.
them.
It was. It was
Not everyone
frustrating.
signed just $100 million contracts after their next their rookie deal, Jalen.
Just ask the question.
Just saying.
Fact, bro.
Don't do this. It's not about me. This is-
Rarefied air. Just
privilege.
saying.
No, it was. It was tough because it was tough for a couple reasons. Because that was my best year that I had in the league. I was really starting to blossom into like a consistent player that like I was looking to become. Like I remember during that year, like I was on like a little bit of a run of like playing well. Like I had like the most 20-10 games like consistent like in a row in the league during that year, and then like we kind of caught a hot streak a little bit and was winning some games like middle to the end of the year. And like I'm like, all right, man, like I'm going into summer. I'm like, man, I just played my ass off, and I played all 82. I was like, I'm definitely getting paid, for sure. And I obviously wanted to be with the Lakers, but it was like it really didn't matter. And then obviously Bron was coming and stuff, so like it was like, yeah, get your ass out of here. But I remember that, but it was also tricky because I was a restricted free agent, So when you under those guidelines, it's like it's a wait and see game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's tough. So I remember the money basically dried up. And I was kind of like in limbo. And the team, I knew I wasn't going back to the Lakers. Like Bron that came there, I think KCP had signed or re-signed shortly after. So like there was no money there, and I was a restricted agent. I'm looking at all the teams with money, and I'm like, they don't got no money either. Like all the money is gone. And I had a few options for like places like I think I might have had like maybe a chance to go to Miami for a sign and trade for good money. Cleveland, I think Cleveland, because Bron, I could have did a sign and trade, and Bron was going to LA, and Cleveland was going to pay me a little bit of money. And the Lakers was just like, nah, we don't want none of them. So I was just like, man, for me, at that point, I think only the mid-level was available. And I was looking at situations where it was like, all right, what's the best basketball fit? I was like, all right, this ain't, biggest thing, like, in the league, one of the things is, like, you play so many games, you got to learn how to let go.
Yeah.
You lose, you got to let go and move on to the next one. So my mind was like, all right, well, the situation is what it is. Like, let's look for the best fit. And I remember Aaron was like, man, go play in New Orleans. Like, New Orleans really, really wants you. And you play alongside AD. That's, like, great fit. So for me, it was like I knew like college. I was like, man, I'm only going there for a year. Hopefully, I can stay longer.
Yeah.
But I'm only going here for a year, and then I had the player option the second year. So it was just for me, it was tough. But the main thing for me was just like, all right, just find the best basketball fit. And I was glad, like I was actually happy, like it happened for the best. It was the best thing to happen for me at that point because I got to play with AD, so I got to play along a talented player like that, a great player like that, Drew Holiday. And I played for Alvin, and Alvin was fun as hell to play for. You know what I mean? Like our system was crazy, so I really got to like take that next step again as a player. And I'm like, man, I can be an all-star. I was like, if I get in the right fit situation, I was like, I can be an all-star. And that's kind of how the New York situation popped up.
Was that a great question and answer for you, Jalen?
Yeah, it's a great answer. Great answer.
How did you land on New York? Like, what was that process like?
I remember I always wanted to play for I only wanted to play for the Lakers when I got there. I was like, I wanted that Kobe, 20 years, play for one organization type thing. And, I remember my agent looking at me, he was like, I was young and naive, and he looking at me, he like, bro, like, I want that for you too, but that shit really just don't happen much. And I'm like, man, you don't know me. I'm doing it like, this is what I'm doing, whatever. But I always remember, like, the first time I ever played at the Garden, my second year in the league, and I'm like, man, if I go anywhere, like, this is where I want to go. Like, this is where I want to play. So by the time I got to New Orleans, I think they had got the #1 pick, and I'm like, man, and then AD was like, I'm out of here. I was like, yeah, I'm out of here too.
You was both out.
I was like, yeah, I'm not, like, I came here for you. You leaving? Like, all right, I'm out. So New York that year, they were supposed to get, KD and Kyrie and all this. So I really wasn't even looking at that as an option. I was looking at Chicago, and I was trying to go to Dallas. And it was like, nah. Once New York became an option, I was like, man, like, this is where I got to go. Yeah. Like, that's the only place I wanted to play at, So I was like, man, this is like kind of like stars aligning type of moment.
I think it worked out.
It worked out pretty
Pretty
well.
Pretty solid.
Going good.